I guess when I tried to be something else, that was not peace for me. Now I'm like, no, I'm going to get things wrong. I'm going to say it incorrectly. I'll get excited that I can't get my words out. And I found out that being me is actually, it's good. Yeah. Like I feel pretty good about it. And then people can relate to you because you are being real.
Podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
I usually have an icebreaker.
Yes.
And your icebreaker is gonna be a bit different if you don't mind. And that is it's an icebreaker where you could brag about yourself, right?
Well, that's
so
easy.
in the current world,
yeah.
in the current, football world, prices are very inflated for players. What do you think your value will be in the current market at your prime?
Gee, I don't know, to be honest. That's a real good icebreaker. Yeah, man. Look, to be honest, I don't know. I've tried to squash my ego, man. So this is bringing it real well out of where I'm trying to put it down. So I don't honestly know. I'm guessing it's for people to make that decision. I mean, maybe make that call. For me, I don't know.
Taking the humble route.
Yeah, I'll take the humble route.
You reckon 60, 70?
Are we talking billion or? I don't know. Nah, I don't know. Honestly,
you don't know?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Damn.
Yeah. I couldn't say. Yeah, I couldn't say.
Here's another way of looking at it. Ali calls it inflated. Do you agree with that? Do you think prices are inflated? Do you think that?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
By how much? You reckon it should be cut in half? A quarter?
Well, look, if people want to pay that money for whatever, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's a product, and I guess what people put money on something is what it's worth. So I don't know. I feel like when you look at the amount of money that players are getting transferred for, and where could you be putting that money?
Yeah.
We're talking $200-300 million. What does that do to a country that's suffering from poverty, famine and all this sort of stuff?
Yeah.
That's where I think it's a little, it's absurd, really.
I saw this picture, I think, on Instagram or Facebook, something last night. It showed how the value of the Manchester City bench, their bench was worth a few $100 million. Yeah. Just a bench. Crazy. I was like, gee, that's a luxury to have, isn't it? Yeah. The guys on the pitch are earning how much, and your bench is a lazy couple $100 million.
Yeah. Oh man, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I can't fathom that, because I've never been to that at that level of what that sort of money would be like. But I guess it's all relevant to what I guess your lifestyle is.
Do you sometimes wish you were playing in the current world?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I think I wonder what I could be earning now.
Yeah.
But then I guess when you get a little bit older and you have different priorities and you have a different way of looking at things, and money's amazing because you need money to do certain things and things that you enjoy that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do without money. But for me, it's beautiful to have, and I'm grateful for when I have it. But it's not a big part of my life now. Used to be. I guess everyone's chasing something. I guess money was something that I guess it gets instilled in you when you're younger. You got to earn this to have this to have this. But I've found in my life, the less I have, the more I feel at peace. Yeah. So it's funny. I have I rent an apartment in Elwood. Before I had a house out on the golf course that I loved. Yeah. And I'm so much more happy where I am than where I was. Yeah.
Hey listeners, sorry to hit pause on our amazing chat, but I promise it's for a knockout reason. Our sponsors today, Hijaz Financial Services, Australia's largest Islamic financial services provider in the country, wanted to join the ring today with us. And who better to represent them than me? So Ali, it looks like you're ready to knock out some financial hurdles. Just wanted to know, what is your power punch? Thank you for having me, Ali. In fact, our Power Punch is actually our faith-based approach to financial services. We're committed to providing financial products that are not only robust and competitive, but also aligned with Islamic principles. And I think that's the most important thing that Hijaz offers, ensuring that our clients can also manage their finances without compromising their values. We've seen some tough competitors in the ring. How does Hijaz take on the challenge of traditional finance? That's actually a great question, Ali. And in terms of endurance, our superannuation investments and home finance products are actually designed for the long haul. We assist our clients in making strategic decisions that help their wealth grow steadily over time. Plus, with our knowledgeable team, offering guidance, our clients can confidently navigate their financial journey. Every champ has a secret weapon. What's Hijaz's secret weapon for their clients to win in their financial journey? Just like in fighting, technique and strategy are absolutely crucial. We focus on providing financial solutions that are ethical, sustainable, and adhere to Islamic teachings. We avoid investing in industry that harms society or the environment, and our clients absolutely appreciate knowing that their money is being put to good use. Just like our champions in the ring, Hijaz is your champion in the financial arena. Check them out today. But I'm looking at the camera and saying, come on, Ali, let's get back to the podcast. Alright, let's look at Ali. Come on, Ali. So tell us how you got into soccer. Young Archie, give us that story.
Yeah, look.
How did that start, the humble beginnings?
Yeah, well, I guess it was with my dad who loved football. And he came from a big family in New Zealand, and came from very tough upbringing and very poor upbringing. And religious too. So he didn't probably have a lot of the opportunities that I had growing up, and in a way he kind of lived his dream of being a footballer through me, and I've got 6 brothers now, 2 sisters because my dad remarried, but every Sunday from as long as I can remember growing up was in the station wagon to our local club, and I loved it. Like, for me, I've said it before, for me, sometimes you don't have connections with your parents, or particularly your dads. I think it's a bit of a different generation now because of the relationship I have with my kids now and my son. Whereas, like, for me, connecting with my dad was through football and playing soccer. So, like, I loved it and I was great at it. But for me, it was like, okay, how can I make my dad proud? Like, and spend more time for him and have that connection. So, I think that was how I got into football. And when you love something and you're good at it. That's kind of where it led me to.
Yeah.
When you say you're good at it, when did you know that you were good at it? What was your sort of tipping point? To say, well, I can take this to the next whole new level.
I don't know if I really knew. I know, like, you get told and people would say stuff as a kid, and then you start making rep teams and go on, and you're part of the young Socceroo setup when you're younger. So you can kind of understand that, okay, maybe I'm not too bad. And that's, I guess, where I sort of seen that this may be a possibility to become a professional footballer. But I had to go the long way around because, I was part of growing up. I was in that sort of golden generation, I guess, of Brett Emerton, Harry Kewell and all these guys. And I sort of went a different way because I was more interested in and this is where I guess I love football, but I wasn't like fanatic.
Yeah.
And I think that's been my football career, where I probably cut corners where I should have been professional, and just because I like other things more than what I sometimes like football. And I think growing up, I'd rather go with my mates that were going to parties and all that sort of stuff when you needed to be dedicated. You need to be dedicated. It's not to say that it can't happen later in life, but especially with sport now, like, you have to be dedicated, eating right, sleeping right, looking after your body right, training right all the time. Like even at the start, but I wasn't. I would rather go hang out with mates on a weekend, try to chase girls, or I wouldn't say chase girls, but just have fun. Have fun. Where I should have been thinking about football. So I went off a little bit off the track where I gave football away for a little while, and then I started obviously getting into a bit of trouble. Maybe hanging out with the wrong people when I shouldn't have been. But then in saying that, they were probably some of the best people growing up that I was, I used to love being around. And then what happened that I was in court. I won't say what for, but with my mum, and my mum was like devastated, and my dad had pretty much given up on me because there's only so much a parent can give when they've got other kids that they've got to tend to as well. So I felt like he'd almost given up, but then mum in court said, I seen her how devastated she was, and I was like, well, mum, I'm not going to go down this path. I'm going to make you proud. I knew that I had talent in football. It's just about getting back and trying to dedicate myself to it. So now when kids say, there's you're never too young to have a dream, and you're never too young to strive for it, because I was 15, 16 when that happened, and I want to be, and I knew that what I had to do was train hard, work hard, and I haven't looked back, But have I been the ultimate professional? No way. I sometimes think, what if I had maybe have done things a little bit differently? How far I could have really taken my football? But
what would you have done differently?
I probably wouldn't have been doing a lot of the things that I was doing, to be honest. Recovering well, eating well, sleeping well, not drinking, looking after my body, and those are the things that I really cut corners with, because I like to have fun. I like to go out. I always felt like if I didn't, I was missing out on something. And sometimes now when I think about it, it's like, what am I actually missing out on? I'm not really missing out on much. You go out, you have fun, you wake up feeling like shit the next day, for days after, and you're not present. And I think I wasn't missing. I always was trying to chase something, and sometimes I go all over the place. But I guess I was trying to chase something. I didn't want to miss out, and I think that's where I went a bit wrong. And now, in hindsight, I probably would have done it differently. But if I hadn't have gone my path or journey, I wouldn't be able to help other people that are starting their journeys in that way. So I mean, because I love kids. I love they fill my cup. I get more out of probably coaching kids than I would, because people ask me, will you get into coaching? I get more from coaching kids than I actually coaching adults. So yeah, I don't even know what I was saying there, but I go off. Whatever comes out, comes out,
No, but it's a really amazing point you raised, because a lot of people seem to think that in order to achieve a particular outcome, you need to fit the mold. Yes. You need to do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
But in that process, you're killing your personality, you're killing your flair, your flamboyance. And that shouldn't be lost as well.
Yeah.
Because I think the greatest sports people overall, be it soccer or any other sport, are the ones that have that flair, that flamboyance, that people can really rally behind and say, look, you know what, I like this person, not just for what they do on the pitch, but their personality, the full package overall.
Yeah.
And I think the Archie Thompson that I grew up watching was a bloke who I liked because of the flair.
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened behind the scenes. I didn't know that whole story. But the guy who came out on the pitch was full of energy, full of life. Maybe, now what you're saying is maybe not as professional as everybody else on the team.
Yeah.
But hey, this was a bloke that a lot of us were rooting for, because he was just a cool bloke.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No.
Well, that's kind of how I and why I connected with a lot of fans and stuff, because what you sort of saw out on the pitch was pretty much kind of what I was like off it. And I know in certain respects you have to fit the mold in the way that you look after yourself, the way that you eat right, and because you can't take it to another level unless you're doing those things right. But then I also too didn't want to lose my
identity.
Yeah, identity,
Archie,
have fun, and it got a bit like that when early days when I was at Victory. You could, I could get up and I could kind of say what not say what I wanted, but have a laugh and have a joke. But then all of a sudden, a media person would come in and say, "You got to hit these points. You got to say these things. You don't say that." I'm like,
that's not me.
Yeah, but that's not me. Man.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why a lot of they didn't put me up for media for after that.
You were rogue.
Yeah,
You're in media now, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I know, and
doing good stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Because I started just being, I was always me. Like, I mean, I say stupid things. I don't think before I say things. I still get things wrong. Like, this is what I mean. I'm not perfect. Like, I think I said this the other day. Like, for me, it's not. I don't strive for perfection. I strive for peace now. Like, so those are the things that are important for me. And I guess when I tried to be something else, that was not peace for me. And even in the media world, like I try to articulate a certain way, or I try to sound like a certain person, or like I'd read people's comments and they go, "Oh God, what's Archie on them?" Like, and I'm so, "Oh shit, I've got to change that about me." And it's like now I'm like, no, it's. I'm going to get things wrong. I'm going to say it incorrectly. I'll get excited that I can't get my words out, and sometimes I won't be like as negative. Because I always try to see the positive in things, and I try not to judge. And I mean, I get it wrong, but I try not to, because that's important. But I found out that being me is actually it's good. Yeah. Like I feel pretty good about it, and then people can relate to you because you are being real. Yeah. You're not trying to, and that's why I look at things now and I go, I can't watch people. Sometimes people getting interviewed, and that's how they have to be sometimes because they're in that.
The athletes are talking about?
Yeah, athletes, but oh man, it's like just boring.
It's all media trained.
It's boring.
Yeah,
like I look at the States and I look at some of a lot of egos there, but it's like it's them. It's entertaining to watch. It's like I love watching Barkley and Charles Barkley and Shaq. Man, they're the funniest guys. I mean, some of the stuff they say is like a bit sexist.
Borderline.
You're borderline, man. But they just say it because they're like, I love that.
Well, because they can. Number one.
Oh, they can.
Good luck standing up to those guys.
Well, a lot of the guys. People that talk to me goes, Arch, I reckon if I say a lot of the stuff that you say, I wouldn't get away with it.
Yeah.
I think it's just because like people know that I'm just not going to say the right things sometimes, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Well, what is the right thing?
Yeah.
I don't know what's the right thing.
Especially in this day and age, though, it's all this cancel culture.
Oh,
they're always trying to cut you off for anything you say.
Oh man, I'm scared. Like, this is the thing. I can't. Like, you got to watch what you say all the time. Like, and if you're genuine and authentic, you don't. That actually doesn't. It shouldn't. Because it shouldn't affect anyone, right? Yeah. Like, I know there's people out there that have got agendas and it's not nice.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I don't try to say things that's going to hurt people. But I do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not good. I'm not perfect. You got to ask my partner for that. Like, I get angry. I fly off the handle. I run away. I disappoint. Like, these are like that's life, right? Yeah. That's life.
You played in for Melbourne Victory in the inaugural season for the A-League, 05-06, and Melbourne Victory went on to win that season. You had a huge hand to play in that. You scored a lot of goals and did a lot of cool stuff. If you look at from then until now, the game of football and soccer has evolved a lot globally, domestically. Do you find that we're in a better place as a sport? From a spectacle, now that you're a commentator, you analyse the game, you study the game, once upon a time you played the game, where do you think we're going? And do you think the game is where you'd like it to be?
Oh, look, I'd love the crowds to obviously be a bit better. But I feel like that's across any sport at the moment. Like, I don't know if they're getting the attendances of what they used to in the past. I look at the inaugural and those early years of playing A-League football, especially Melbourne Victory. That was the hottest ticket in town, man. Like, people come into this game and they weren't even fans of it. Like, and then they ended up being fans of it because of the atmosphere and the football. And I look back on some of that footage and I go, wow, look at that crowd. That's insane. And and sometimes even when I'm like at a game, working on a game and looking at the crowd, and it's not what it used to be. It's like, oh man. So that's probably one side of it. It's changed a little bit. I don't know if I feel like the football's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a period probably a year or so ago that I thought, man, this is like, no wonder not many people are coming because it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
And but there are some exciting young players coming through. Football's a little bit different. Sometimes it's you think some of the youngsters coming in like maybe ability wise, like you think, well, what, like they should be able to pass a ball. It's very simple, you know. But you get that everywhere. Like it's not just the younger guys. Some of the older guys, you go, man, come on! Like you've been around long enough, you shouldn't be making those mistakes. But I guess that's just life. You can't be perfect all the time. But I will say the football is definitely at a high standard.
So
like especially this year.
So the calibre of soccer or football is better, but the crowds aren't turning up. Why aren't the crowds turning up?
I don't know. Is it you know, the way the world is at the moment? How
Do you think
like,
because
financially, you guys are in a financial
Do you
company? Come on,
I
start pumping some money.
I don't think it's because of that. I genuinely think it's because the names of the players. Back in your days, Archie Thompson. Everyone knows Archie Thompson. Now it's like, who is there?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Who is there to go watch? They bring in people from overseas like Nanny, which
Yeah.
I think like has been injured most of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't think Australia does a very good job in hyping the players
Nah, well that's
and building a brand and having people to come in and watch it.
I agree.
I think the A-League should get together and invest in the branding of these players more than anything. People watch for the names, nothing else. That's why when Manchester United came to play Melbourne Victory over here, it was flooded. Why? Because they want to watch the names, the big names, right? And boo, you know, whoever, right? They just want to go have fun, look at these names, recognize them.
Yeah,
and I don't think they're doing a good job in that. What do you think, Archie?
No, yeah, I agree. Like I felt like early on, you had a connection with the players. Like the fans knew who the players were, and you know, COVID obviously came in and disrupted a lot of that, and weren't able to get players, big name players coming from overseas, good ones. Financially, the league wasn't able to support big players coming over, and I thought Nani was a great little sugar kick for our league, but. I didn't realise he hadn't played a lot of football over the last couple of years, and so you want someone that is coming here that can really excite. I was really excited about him. Unfortunately, that didn't work out the way that Victory was hoping in the league. But there's been some really good players coming in. But like I said, the connection from the players to the fans. I sometimes went in there and like. Didn't know some of these guys that were coming through, but there's some great stories out there, like really great stories. I mean, Aaron Kunda's a great one coming through 100%. Now. Bayern, I think, is on the books there. The Quol, Garen Quol. There's a lot of these young African players coming through that have had hard upbringings, and their stories is amazing. Like, you know, and I feel like that if you can connect to some of those stories and what the players are off the pitch too, because sometimes like you don't get that connection of like, okay, they're on the pitch, but what are they like? That's what I like. I like to see who the person is outside of sport, and what do they do. And I know that with the All Access, I don't know if you've seen that, A-League's All Access. That's brilliant. Like, you know, you get to see what their everyday life is like, because they're more than just what you see out on a football pitch. You know, there's a lot of, I guess, stories about how they got there. Like, you know, what Besart Barisha had to do, like, I don't know, flood. What do you have to escape one of these war-torn countries to another one, like on foot? Like, you know, a lot of these crazy little stories that kind of gets people going, wow, did you see that? I didn't know about that. And then you connect them with it. But there's, like I said, I don't know. I mean, I like to kind of, I should probably invest a bit more time into kind of that, you know, how we can maybe connect a little bit better to the fans.
Are you a fan of Formula One?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Like when I did it, I worked on it like 2 years ago, like this
Right.
year and last year.
Okay.
I definitely was more into it last year because of having to work on it.
Okay.
I needed to know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And obviously Drive to Survive.
That's what I was getting at.
And that was amazing.
Because Formula One was dying, right?
Yeah.
And then they done Drive to Survive to boost the characters, the profile of the drivers, and it just ballooned up. That people are fan of the drivers, not the sport now.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a great strategy because
Yeah.
I think they realize that people come for people.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know. I feel like the A League should.
Well, we have
I don't
something
know,
similar.
talk to
Like,
Netflix or something.
yeah, well, I mean, and also too, it's like I guess it's got to put. I know Formula One, like man, that thing's unbelievable. Like it stops a country.
Yeah.
Like the amount of money that they have. I know that it was probably didn't have the hype as what it did before that, but it still had a ridiculous amount of money.
100%.
We just don't have money. Like I mean, we don't even have a like Graham Arnold's talking about at the moment. We don't have a home of football where like the national team can form, prepare, sleep. It's just the facilities, but like we just seem to be down in the pecking order when it comes to government funding, everything like that. Like you look at our grassroots, we're number one participated sport in the country, and when it comes to money from the government, we're like, I don't know, 6th or 7th.
Wow.
I mean, sailing's getting more money than what we are.
Really?
No, like seriously,
Jeez.
yeah. And I was making that point. I was making that point on TV, on radio when the World Cup was going on. They're like, man, sailing get more money than what we do from the government. And then what happens? We have that big debacle at Melbourne Victory, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh God, what I just said doesn't mean anything because we keep kicking ourselves in the foot, or shooting ourselves in the foot. But like that, and then you've got another government putting a team of AFL in Tasmania, and they said that if they don't get the number of if AFL don't get the numbers there, the government will flip the bill for whatever's.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Yeah.
They'll flip the bill for who doesn't. So I'm getting excited again now. For who doesn't who doesn't attend. We don't get it. We don't get it, and it's sad because, like I said, participation level is amazing. And our national team can go do so much more on both levels if we had something to kind of facility.
Do you think if the national team starts performing better, that the government could be like, hey,
man, well, look what we're doing with what we have.
That's also true.
We took Argentina to a last minute save. Mind you, I will say Argentina had some big opportunities. That could have been so much more. But we took them right to the final whistle. I did hear or read that the Argentinian manager said that that was one of the hardest games to prepare for because they really we really took it to them. And from we don't have much, we don't have much.
No, but to Ali's point, I think it's a bit of a chicken or the egg sort of situation. Do you invest more in the grassroots, and does the government provide more funding now to actually nurture better quality talent through the ranks, and then that will result in more premiership or
so Anthony was saying as well.
Well, 100%. It's all grassroots stuff. And also too, when you look at registrations, it costs it's hard for.
It's costly.
It is costly, and then I think James Johnson's trying to. Is it James Johnson, the FA? He's trying to make it that there's only one sort of a lower fee that everyone pays. But it's hard. It's hard when you look at AFL. I mean, I know, but there's so much money and broadcasting money in that sport that it all just filters down. They can give free programs to. Unfortunately, they filter down. We've got to build up. And it's hard. It's hard.
That's tough.
Do you ever think it will get to that level, like in England or something?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Or is it always going to be beneath AFL?
AFL is a big sport. But I feel like we can coexist. And if money's kind of filtered differently from governments and stuff, because really, like when you look at football and sport, especially at grassroots level, it helps kids. It helps kids maybe being in an environment where they can, I guess, become the best that they can.
Yeah.
In team environments, working together, learning all these different attributes of working in a team and a community, then go on and being like, rat bags on the street. Yeah. They've got somewhere to be, and that's what grassroots football is about, community, and bringing that introverted kid that maybe is having a hard time or whatever, which I was the introverted kid. Sport helped me.
Yeah. So if you were playing right now, do you think you would have been as big, the name?
What's that?
If you were playing right now, right, would you have been the Archie Thompson? Or was it because, do you think A-League had a better following back then for you to be able to grow your name?
Well, yeah, because it was fresh and it was new. And I think that's, and the success that we had early on too, it helped. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that my football ability too now would still help me create whatever. Yeah. But I like I said, I came back from a successful year in Belgium where I was. Yeah. They wanted me to stay, and then I thought, oh gosh, if I come back, it's going to be one step backwards in being part of the Socceroos, and going away from Europe again and all this sort of stuff. But it was the best decision I ever made, because I've got, like, there's Socceroos out there that have had amazing careers in big, but no one kind of I don't know what they're doing now, or no one really knows who they are. But me playing here in Australia, it's like, I feel like, without pumping my own tires up, like a household name. And it's helped me do other things, like a Masterchef. I did Masterchef.
You won Masterchef?
Yeah, Celebrity Masterchef.
I remember that. It was on
Derek, man.
Derek season.
Okay, right.
Yeah, man,
It was the Celebrity.
Yeah, do you know Derek?
Yeah, he was on that pod.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
He's a beautiful guy.
Yeah.
He's a champion. Yeah, we did it together. I was on actually his podcast. He did a podcast too.
Right, okay.
I was part of that.
How'd that go?
Man, it was unbelievable. Like, I just missed out. Like, I'm making the semi-finals, which he did, because we cooked at Vue de Monde, and I. Yeah, Vue de Monde just up here, actually. And I bailed out there. Mind you, I did bail out at the right time, but that was an amazing experience. I don't know if I would have had those opportunities. Yeah. And someone said to me, I think it was Craig Foster. He texted me, and he's doing amazing things with asylum seekers, refugees and asylum seekers, all that, which is amazing. But he texted me and said, Arch, like, it's so great to see you breaking into other barriers, but breaking down barriers in terms of sport, like football, going to and doing all these other, like, Masterchef and whatever might pop up from our code, because that's like, we don't have that. Like, we don't have someone. It's either like AFL or rugby. I feel pretty great that I'm doing those sort of things too through football.
Back to your soccer or football achievements, you still hold the record for the A-League's highest goal scorer.
No. That's gone. Jamie McLaren's got that.
Okay,
now.
So you held that for a long time.
Jamie McLaren, best apparition. I'm about fifth or sixth.
Yeah, but for a while there.
Yeah, I held that.
You were. Now, obviously, around the world, your strikers are probably the most highly celebrated, footballers around the world.
Yeah.
But so few actually end up reaching that level where they are in a particular league, or they really dominate. What makes a great striker from your perspective?
Oh, gosh.
If there's a junior Archie watching this saying, I want to be the best striker in this league, or whatever league it is.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Oh man, it's hard work. Like, it's dedicating time before training, after training, because it's a unique gift.
It is.
And that's why, you kind of are celebrated and you are talked about, because it's down to really split second decisions and being in the right place at the right time. Some people have really like a knack of it, you know. But when you get that opportunity, you take it.
Yeah.
And like I said, if we all could do that, there'd be all these strikers, no midfielders, no defenders. But everyone's a striker. Like, you know, just some do it better than others. And like I was someone that maybe didn't have loads of opportunities. Like sometimes I look at strikers now and I go, man, how do they get so many chances? It's like crazy. I look at Jamie McLaren, for instance, too. It's like, man, he gets 5 or 6 chances a game. Like, man, I got to work so hard just to get one. But when that one chance came, I took it. Yeah. You know, and I think, sometimes I'd have off days, you know, but it's just work, repetition. I got told by players that when I was going through, it's like, you know, always just after training, just kick balls into the corners of the goals. Just know where the goals are. Like and it is like that. I feel like for that particular position, you need to do extra work. Yeah, always.
I've always also felt that I think confidence for strikers is so important.
Yeah.
The strikers who are in form, like you see guys who play, for example, in the EPL, and there's a breakout season, and then from that point onwards, they go god tier.
Yeah.
You got like Mo Salah and these sorts of guys who come in, and once they hit their straps, that's it, they're unstoppable.
Yeah.
So do you feel that as well, that you flick a switch at some point in your mind, you believe that you can do this, and then it's pedal to the metal?
Oh, look, it is confidence, man. Like confidence is massive, because if you feel like that you're not getting chances, or when you get the chances, they're just not coming off right. Yeah. Like the confidence goes down. Then this fear takes over. Like I would always step onto the field, and as much as I look, confident, I had fear.
Yeah.
Like there was always fear. There's fear in everything that I do sometimes. Like, you know, but I always was in fear that I'm going to make a mistake, or I'm not going to take that opportunity, or like, you know. And when they came, it was like, oh, okay, that's okay. I think that for me, fear was a big thing, but look, I know that you get in these little ruts. They don't last so long sometimes, and the great players seem to have that consistency. Yeah. Like, you know, Mo Salah, like he's unbelievable. Harry Kane, like I look at Erling Haaland, right? He's good. I'll be interested to see what he does the following year. Yeah. But he was unbelievable. But I look at Harry Kane. He still scored 30 goals. Yeah. In the Premier League, you know this, and he consistently does it. Like even when it looks like he's having like an off day, he still finds a way of doing it. Like these are the elite of the elite. Like that's something different. Like in this competition here in the A League, I mean, like, you know, I could do that. I don't know if I'd be able to do it against the calibre of players like they were. Like they're doing it against. Like they're just another level. But their mindset's a bit different than mine.
Who do you think is the best striker in the world right now?
Oh, well, it has to be Erling Haaland, but yeah. But then look, for me, I like strikers that create also. Right. Like I love Mo Salah. Like he's someone that can create, dribble, score. Like, you know, like I look at Haaland's just power. Like he is just power and being in the right place, strong, like in tight areas and things. Like, is he as good as most? Like I see Mo Salah a lot. There's probably a lot of great players out there doing things, but I watch the EPL.
Yeah. Do you think Haaland
or Saka, Martinelli? Because I'm a Gunner, man.
Yeah. You're a Gunner.
And Jesus is like when he was playing, like, you know. Yeah. There's all different types of strikers. Everyone's different, unique, you know. Yeah.
Do you think Haaland is a one-season wonder?
Nah.
You reckon?
I don't think so. I think he's pretty good. He's pretty damn good, man.
For him to maintain this for a long period of time, he's a kid.
Yeah,
he's so young.
Well, you look at Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
I think there was some crazy amount of goals he needs to score. Like the year he's had, he needs to do that for another 10, 12 years or something to be at the level of Ronaldo. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, and even Messi, like the amount of they're one in a lifetime sort of players, man. Like, you know, they're incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, Erling Haaland's incredible.
Yeah,
too.
no, he's great. And a lot of people doubted what he'll do in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But
Oh man, he's bloody.
they're saying
squashed
he's
that
coming
pretty
from
quick.
a farmers league and whatnot to that.
German league's bloody tough,
It-
man.
it is.
That's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
most competitive leagues in the
Yeah.
world, man.
Yeah.
And like you look at the physicality, the amount of running, and like they're right up there.
They are.
Yeah, but-
That's a tough competition.
But you got to remember, like, none of them have the record you do. The 13 goals.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Yeah.
International.
That's it, baby.
And I don't
That's
think
what
any of them are going to break that. So you
no
have-
one's breaking that.
So you have something above.
Talk about Farmers
everyone.
League, Farmers Countries or whatever playing it. And they're making a movie about it. Did you know
They
that?
are?
Yeah.
Okay.
In November it comes out. Like, I can't remember who's wrote it, but yeah, it comes out. And,
What's the movie about?
it's about the story of the Dutch coach coming over, trying to make this team better or at least win a game.
Yeah.
They did a documentary on it, Next
Right.
Goal Wins. So I
Okay.
think the actual movie's called Next Goal Wins, but the doco is called Next Goal Wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and they follow American Samoa about that game. Like it's so good to watch, man. Next Goal Wins. Check it out, doco.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
And then movie's out in November.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
They said, "Oh, who's playing you, Arch?" I'm like, "Well, man, I would like Kevin Hart to, but I probably the closest it could be." But I don't even know if that they really focus on us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How was that? How was that? Getting
13 goals. Oh, man.
mercilessly. Like, it seems like you didn't care, just kept going.
No, I didn't think at the time about it, like, because it was. I think there was a moment I looked at. There's a photo of like sort of us all going like this.
Okay.
I think we those sort of Oceania qualifiers. You know they're going to get high scores.
Yeah.
But I just there was a lot of factors there with that team because I think they couldn't bring a lot of their first team players over for whatever reason, visa reasons. So they had their young.
Oh.
So man, they were just like they were babies playing against guys that were playing in the Serie A, NSL, EPL. Like man, like that was a good team, regardless of who we were playing. But we happened to play the worst country in the world. So
huge mismatch.
Yeah, man, big like David Goliath, and David's not winning that. Like no chance. But it was. Yeah, it was, and for me too, because it was like a World Cup year. I wanted to be part of the qualifications. I was sort of breaking into the Socceroos, so I didn't care who we were playing. Like I wanted to score goals and prove myself. And I was in the squad of some amazing players. Like I looked up to growing up.
Speaking of World Cups, the 2010 World Cup, South Africa. You were there?
No,
No.
I did my knee.
You did your knee.
Just before in a grand final here.
That I don't know. Over the years, like you watch a number of World Cups, that World Cup stood out to me as being a really good one.
Well, I never watched it.
Yeah, really.
I didn't watch it.
You were just pissed off.
I was my knee. And to be fair, I didn't even really watch the 2014 one. I didn't probably even watch 2018. To be honest, yeah, like I said, I'm obviously watching. Had an eye on what the Socceroos are doing.
Yeah.
But again, it just shows that I love football, but it's not like.
Did you watch the Qatar one?
What's that?
The
Did you
Qatar
watch
World
the
Cup
Qatar World
recently.
Cup?
Yes, because I worked on it with
Yeah.
SEN
Did you fly
radio. No, on the radio here at SEN. So I was really right into it.
Yeah.
Because I was working on it, and over this year or so, I've actually fallen a bit more back in love with football. I think because of Paramount Channel 10 taking over, it's a bit more lighthearted. I can have fun with it. It's not like that all the time, which I enjoy. And then also too, because I feel like I had a lot of probably resentment in the way that I kind of ended football, and I held it still for years after it, like and even with Melbourne Victory, the way that I felt like that I left the club. And when you let go of all that stuff and you just realise that, hang on, it's like a business and it's not all about you. You've. I probably didn't see that I was, slowing down, or even stuff that was happening outside of football was starting to affect my football. And then you have and you get a bit wiser, and you go, actually, it was time. And if anything, they gave me a real opportunity.
Mm.
So I held a lot. Now I've let go of all of that stuff. So I love football, and I'm more engaged in it. And I will look at stuff. And when there's important games on, I'll watch it. Our Gunners, when the Gunners were playing some pretty important games, I was watching them. And I feel like that's my love for football is kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with I work with a school, South Oakley, and it's a after school program. Kevin Sheedy does the footy. I do the football, and it's fun. I enjoy it. There's no Maradonas or Ronaldos and that, but they're just good kids, and but they have fun. Set up. I get enjoyment from it too. So it's I'm falling back in love with it. And I actually had a thought today. I even had a dream last night that I thought of coaching. I don't know what it'd be like.
In the A League?
Oh, no, just coaching. Just coaching. Whatever it be, I don't know.
But you did play in the 2006 World
Yes,
Cup.
I went there. I didn't play.
You didn't play?
No, I was warming up. I felt like I was going to go on for the Italian game.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So that was another thing that I kind of... I had a lot of resentment to that too. I probably even had a lot of resentment to Ange Postecoglou when he took over from Holger Ossick, because Holger Ossick, we had a lot of we did all the qualifications, and then we got to the World Cup, and then it looked like they didn't want him there because they played Brazil and they played France, and we were not doing great as it was. And I don't reckon any manager would have come in and fixed it. We were just in a bit of a spell, but we got there. I would have loved to have kept going because that was my chance to at least go to a World Cup where I could play.
Yeah.
Ange came in and said, "Nah, he's scrapping all the sort of older players and bringing in new." So there was a bit of disappointment there, resentment.
Did you play in any World Cup?
No.
Damn.
But man, I think I played a big part of the qualifiers against Uruguay.
Okay.
So that was 35 years, man. We hadn't been to a World Cup. That was being part of that moment, going to a World Cup was incredible. I always say too, I don't think Lucas Neal and Craig Moore would have had the tournament they did if they didn't have me running at them every training session, But that's how it is sometimes. And I did have those regrets, but man, not many people can say they went to a World Cup, or be part of a team that broke 35 years of
a drought.
Yeah. So I'm pretty blessed, man. I've been part of the inaugural A League and watched it, and Melbourne Victory grow into the club that it is now. Went to a World Cup 2006, broke a 35-year record. Part of the Uruguay qualifications, all the qualifications up until then, because it's easy. I would say it's easy to go to be in a World Cup than it is to make a World Cup.
Yeah.
Making World Cups are the hardest part about being in a World Cup. Yeah. You go there and you have expectations, and you go out there and do your best that you can against all these nations, but grinding and getting there is another story. That's the hardest part. Travel, some of these places that you play, if you fly in, fly out, the weather, it's crazy. It's crazy. The crazy intense atmospheres that you're at, so being part of a lot of qualifications, that was a big buzz for me too. Yeah. About being in a World Cup, I would have loved to, man. That's still stepping out of the picture of the World Cup would have been incredible.
Massive. So you spoke earlier about managers that you've had and at an A-League level and whatnot. From your perspective, what makes a great manager? Who's somebody that you've had as a coach or a manager, who you've benefited from immensely, and who has had the opposite impact on you as well?
Well, I don't know. I feel like someone that can. Because everyone is unique and everyone has a way of getting, feeling like they can get the best out of someone. And I feel like a good manager can read that and have, I feel like almost 50-50 where they know the football, but they know the player. I look at Pep Guardiola and even Arteta, he can get the best out of these players, but tactically still know exactly, and put an arm around a player that needs an arm around him. Maybe yell at someone to get a bit more at him because they know that that's what's going to get the best out of it. Those are the sort of, but you get it wrong. Like it's always difficult. I mean, I feel like maybe in big industries, you've still got to have someone that can manage everyone well to get the best out of them. Like it's how you see you can talk to a person, how you don't talk to a person. Those are the sort of things you learn, I think. Yeah, I look at Kevin Muscat.
There's a coach, like to the normal lay fan. Sometimes, I'll see it in the comments when a team does really good, like Manchester City, for example, because they have amazing players. A lot of people usually say, it's the players, it's not the coach, because there's world-class players in there. Do you think Manchester City type will be where they are now without Pep?
No.
Or does a coach have a massive role to play?
Oh, massive role. Like a massive role. Like when you're working with all these different, I guess, egos, because it's really a lot of egos there. Yeah. Because it's like, my own experience, if I didn't feel like that, if I wasn't playing, I was like, oh, man, but you still got to get kicked because they could be needed. I could be needed. He's got all these superstars, and I always think that, okay, you put all that money in, but you still got to manage them, because you could easily they go, oh man, what the hell? But you look at that team, how many quality players they have, they still go out there and they work. They don't stray from what the tactics are. They stick to it. It, even with the quality they have, and individual skill in certain moments they use it, but they still stick to what Pep's structure is, because that's what he's instilled in them. And if someone goes out, someone can come in, and there's no hard feelings about that guy being out. They'll come in and just do it. That's for me an amazing manager that can do that. Where a player superstar can rest one week, come in and do the exact job the next week after without losing that morale or the confidence in him. He's incredible. Yeah. Because it's easy to go, okay, there's heaps of money in that, but you still got to manage it. I've seen so many teams that have all these superstars, but they don't do anything.
Yeah, I think it's the manager's ability to get that buy-in, to make everybody see that, look, you know what, for the greater good of this club, for the greater good of the team, we all need to sort of rally behind this one plan, as opposed to you're going to do what's best for you 100%. And could not care less about anybody else.
Well, this is where I think the first year at Melbourne Victory, I was very much not part of that. It was I was very much the individual. I felt like the big fish in a small pond.
Yeah,
I didn't buy into any of it until when I was well, the only way I'm going to win anything here is to really, I guess, like you say, adopt what the game plan is, what I need to do, for the team, and it ended up working better than the year that I had, where it was just all about me and all this sort of stuff. When a team does well, you do well.
Yeah.
And I think Ange was a good one too. It's whenever it's 2-0, it doesn't say Thompson 2-0.
Yeah.
It says Melbourne Victory 2-0. And so when I think, and with anything, any industry, any business, if there's no buy-in and it's all fractured, you're not going to get success, right? It's all got to be, and that's where it's got to be managed well, you know.
100%.
It's sport is very much like life, really, when you look at it from a business side of things. If you're not buying into something and you're not getting the best out of something, it's not going to succeed.
True.
Yeah. Before we wrap things up, what are you doing now, Archie? I know you're doing commentating.
Wow, mate, I'm probably not allowed into that Vibe Hotel there because when I was running to this pod, I was busting for a 2. Sorry, I was busting for a 2, and I ran into the women's toilets. Yeah. I came out and they're like, yeah, this is a women's toilet. I was like, oh man, sorry. So I won't be going there, that's for sure. I'm staying well over there. I don't know. I've still got they got the. I don't know when this is going to come out, but we've got the A-League final this week, and City play Central Coast. When this comes, I don't know when this comes there, but whoever wins that would be great. And just cruising. I'm just happy. I'm chilled. I'm sure.
You have a role with the Polished Man,
Uh,
ambassadorial.
yeah, Polish Man,
Polished Man.
Movember, like all these little,
Well, what interests you about Polished Man? Why'd you get behind that?
Well, there's a lot of great things. It's like Polish Man. It's like domestic violence against women and kids, and them not having a sort of a voice, and and again it's men also too. I think too with Movember, like mental health. There was another great one, Mirabella, I think, or Mirabelle. There's another organisation that just think these things that pop up that have real purpose and help people. I think those are the ones that really attract to me. And Mirabelle was another one where families and children get affected by drugs and illicit drugs because either their parents have gone to jail or parents have died from an overdose, and their kids are thrust into maybe their grandparents to help, and they look to fund so that they could help these kids with whatever they're dealing with. Like all these things are just, I think they're the purpose that I kind of feel like that helps me, where I can give back. Yeah, like they're really important.
Yeah.
Kid stuff for me is always
Close to the heart.
Very much, man. Very much. Like, I'm like a big kid. It's like, man, I'm a big kid. So we're all got kids inside of us, right? We're all like that's why we go and we go to sport, or we kick the ball, or we do things fun because that's a kid inside of us,
Yeah.
So and when those kids aren't getting the opportunity because of whatever traumatic thing that's happened in their life, whatever sort of joy you can bring, man, that's the important part of it.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Archie, the way we end the podcast is I ask 10 rapid fire questions.
Okay, bang.
All right, and you could answer them as fast or as slow as you want. It's completely up to you.
Okay.
You ready?
Hit me.
All right, first question, Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh, man. I don't know. They're both great, man. They're both great. They're all unique.
Yeah.
They're different. One's like they're different type of players.
So you can't pick?
I can't pick, man.
All right, how about Haaland or Mbappe?
Mbappe.
Okay. Who do you think is the best Socceroo today in the current squad?
Oof. Man, good one. I don't know. Man, I'm going to chew a lot of this pot up by thinking about these questions. I honestly can't think of. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Right.
Give me one that I could go. Yeah.
Just say Archie Thompson, call it a day.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna be. Yeah, I don't know.
Your favorite stadium that you've ever played in?
Favorite stadium?
Favorite stadium that you've played in?
I reckon Montevideo.
Where's that?
In Uruguay. When we played them, and that was purely for the intensity of it all.
The atmosphere.
Like, atmosphere. Listen to the national anthem, getting booed and feeling the ground shake.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, man.
Getting booed while the anthem was going on?
Yeah, we couldn't hear our anthem.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like it was big boos, but it was, I
man.
loved it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
The most famous person you've met?
Man. I can't think. I'm going blank.
Or let's say the most famous person you've played against.
Played against Messi a few times.
You did?
Yeah, and I played against him in 2008. The Olympics.
Okay.
They ended up winning the gold medal there. They had Aguero, Messi, I think Di Maria was there, Raquelme. Man, this team was unbelievable. Man, unbelievable. They went and won it. Like, this is when they were really young.
Yeah.
So Messi and Neymar played against Neymar in Brazil.
Amazing.
And and he was like playing in second gear. Like, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So they're
that's
probably
insane.
Yeah, they're probably
Your favorite food?
chicken.
Any
Fried chicken, man. Look at my skin, baby. It's in my DNA.
From KFC or?
Oh man, KFC 100%. But I can't eat that all the time because if I like it, you know, when you crave it and you have it, then you feel kind of man, it's
sluggish.
Sluggish and that, but still you go back to it. KFC, man.
Stockholm syndrome. Your favorite superhero?
Gosh, man. I don't know. I like them all, man. Like, they're all pretty cool. Give me one, man, because
Mine was Batman.
Oh, Batman. Yeah, Batman. There's that human side. Like, he's a human, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Right.
You get me, man. I should be better at this. I can't.
I reckon go with Flash.
Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flash. I'll go Flash.
My last question is: what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Oh, man, lots of advice. I'd probably say don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be kind. Don't be fearless. And just be yourself. Yeah, don't be anyone else.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to tell myself that still. You know, I'm 44 years old. I got to remind myself every morning when I do my prayer, my meditation, and my gratitude list.
Yeah.
Those are my things I always got to work on.
Amazing.
It's a life journey.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. On that note, Archie, thank you so much for coming on the pod. It's been a great chat.
Yeah.
Learned a lot.
Man, I'm all over the place. So, there's so much more. Yeah.
Nah, it's we'll edit it, make sure it's all seamless.
Yeah,
Don't
mate,
worry,
chop
we
it
got
up good, mate. Make me look good, bro.
That's our job.
Yeah.
But I thank you, Archie. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you
thank-
so much. And good luck with everything that you're doing.
I appreciate
We'll
it.
be
Man.
cheering on for you for whatever you do. Good
Oh
luck
man,
with everything.
nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.